Hey guys, Clinton Jaws here. That's who I am. I had a good sleep last night, okay? Don't worry about me. I had a good sleep. It was good. Jesus. Okay, yeah. I admit it. I listened to Miley Cyrus. I like Miley Cyrus. You gotta listen to Heart of Glass. It's unbelievable. Okay? It kind of gets me going for these podcasts. This ain't a podcast, though. I'm just, you know what? I wake up this morning, and thank you guys for sending me stuff. I got another clip about that Halifax police officer. The full video came out, 7 minutes. I shouldn't say the full video. Well, a lot more of the video came out in Halifax, and I want to talk about it. I got to talk about it because I talked about it before, and I left some things out, and that's what I want to talk about. Guys, subscribe to my channel. Thank you. I like it when you send me stuff. Keep on sending me stuff. I don't mean gifts. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about clips, and I don't watch the news. I don't know who the Halifax mayor is. I didn't know who the chief was. I don't know who the premier is. I don't watch news. So the only way I really find out things is if somebody tells me. So keep on sending me stuff. Anything around the world. I don't know where to start this. I'm kind of just jumping right into it, and I don't know if it's going to be any good. I guess we'll start with the mayor? The premier. I'm going to break down the video, the 7-minute video. I'm going to break it down. We're going to go into it. We're going to get into it. But can we just start with what the premier said? And this is what I woke up to this morning. I don't really know his name. His last name's Rankin. I don't understand his first name. It looks like Ian, but it's like Ian. I don't know. I don't know if it's Ian. Who would name their kid something as confusing as that? Ianin or something like that. This reporter is going to ask him about what happened this weekend. Listen to the reporter. Listen to what she asks Rankin.
Yeah, over the weekend, a video surfaced showing a white police officer pointing a gun at a black man, threatening his life in a somewhat cavalier way. Understandably, many people, including the African Nova Scotian community, are quite outraged at this video, saying that, this is police conduct and it's racially motivated. I'm just wondering what your response to this video is and what you can do to, put an end to this systemic racism within the police force.
I guess put an end to this systemic racism in the police force. The reporter wants to know what he's going to do to end the systemic the reporter's saying there's systemic racism in the police force. This is what drives me crazy. Rankin, I don't know him, but I guarantee you. And why would you like this guy? He even looks like a puppet. If I made a puppet, that's what my puppet would look like. Has Rankin ever said to anybody living in Halifax, has he ever given an example of systemic racism? No, he hasn't. You know why he hasn't? Because you can't. You can't give an example of systemic racism in policing because it doesn't exist. And when you say that, you sound racist. I sound racist when I say that. There is absolutely no evidence that there's systemic racism in policing. There isn't. That's why he won't give an example of it. That's why, and I don't know the guy, but I guarantee you, he's never provided you guys with an example. Ever. He can't do it. It's a made-up thing that they made up. I'm not saying there's not racist people in this world. I'm not saying there's not racist cops. I'm saying I've never met one. But I'm not saying there isn't a racist cop in construction, in the healthcare, as a fireman. And I'm not saying there aren't any racist cops in policing. Just because there might be a racist cop in policing doesn't mean policing is systemically racist. And I can't believe I'm still talking about this. This is not why I started the podcast, but I can't help it. If it did exist, he would give an example of it. The RCMP commissioner would give an example of it. But they can't. And when they do come up with an example, it sounds ridiculous. Saskatchewan RCMP. Commissioner found them. They racially discriminated against the mother. When the RCMP went to the mother and they told the mother that their son had died, they did an NOK. The RCMP discriminated against the mother because one of the cops looked in the microwave while he was there. And that's racist. I mean, ridiculous. What else did he do? He asked the mother if he had been drinking. Not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to ask a mother that she's been drinking if she isn't white. Let's hear what Rankin has to say.
As you know, systemic racism is something that I campaigned on tackling. And that's
something he campaigned on tackling. Interesting, isn't it? That's why he got elected. He knew if he went down a path, this path, that he would get elected. Isn't it amazing they're working on a fairy tale? Something that doesn't even exist. There's committees and groups all over the world trying to fight something that doesn't exist. He campaigned on it. He got elected because he campaigned on it. And yeah, I can't speak English properly, okay?
What I heard on the video, personally, I think is disgusting.
What do you even say to it? You know what's disgusting? You're disgusting. You're disgusting that there's a cop sitting at home right now. I don't know if he's sitting at home. But he's been removed from the streets. I just assume he's sitting at home. And he's disgusted. Like how... Do you feel good about yourself, Rankin? How do you think this cop feels? The cop has done nothing wrong. And Rankin's going to shit all over him. Could you imagine being that cop, knowing you did a good job? And you got the premier talking about you like that. And why is he doing it? So he looks good in the public. It's an easy route. The hard route would be to stand up and say, there isn't systemic racism. That call that cop went to had nothing to do with racism. Had nothing to do with people's color of their skin. That's too hard. This guy has no courage of conviction. Same with the chief of Halifax. It's easier to go down this route. And it's fake and it's phony and you're disgusting. And do you really believe he's actually disgusted? No, he's not. He doesn't give a rat's ass what happened the other weekend. Last weekend.
But I'm going to let that review take place. And
well, let's rewind that.
I think is disgusting. But I'm going to let that review take place. And
he's going to let the review take place. But first of all, I want you to know it's disgusting. I thought you just said you're going to let the review take place. Well, you didn't. You just reviewed it as disgusting.
I expect Halifax Police to take corrective action.
But
corrective action. Corrective action, guys. He expects corrective action. I'm not gonna really give my opinion, but it's disgusting, and there needs to be corrective action. The cop didn't do anything wrong.
So, I mean, multiple incidents over the last several years have happened similar to this, and many are saying...
Which ones are those? Which ones are those? Like, who are you talking about? You're talking about Pierce? What's his name? Mark Pierce? And a bratty? Forget it. I'm not going to get into it.
And they're always hearing the same thing. You know, it's under investigation, this is outrageous, this is disappointing, etc. But no real action is taken. And so is the right step to really just leave it to the police force that hasn't done anything on these matters for years?
They can't do anything because there's nothing wrong. How do you do something about it? Policing is not systemically racist.
We'll do our best to make sure we're tackling systemic racism within our systems, making sure we look at clarifying land for African Nova Scotians, the ban on street checks.
I don't know if street checks were banned in Halifax or if he's planning on banning them. I don't know. But how genius is that? That's a genius idea. Let's ban street checks. Let's not go out and get information that might solve something the next day. Unbelievable. These guys have no idea what it's like being a cop. And they're not supposed to.
And again, it's disappointing to hear those remarks on a video.
Rankin's disappointed, guys. He's disappointed to hear the comments on the video. He's not disappointed in the bad guys. Fuck. What world are we living in?
Much of the opposition to your Biodiversity Act is based on...
Biodiversity? What are you guys doing? Oh, does she ask any more questions? I got to hear it.
Who say that police can't be investigating these issues because they're police matters, so they're not, far enough away from the issues. What would you say to those who want to see more action?
There'll be more action, and I'll be speaking to the Justice Minister.
There's going to be more action. He knows nothing about policing. The only way you're going to know anything about policing is if you go to police training. He knows nothing about use of force. The only way you're going to know about use of force is if you're taught it and it's ingrained and you go out on the field and you practice it. He's disappointed because he has no idea what policing is. He's got no clue. None of them do. And he's going to correct. He's going to help correct what went wrong in his head at that call. Could you imagine being that cop sitting at home right now? I can't. You're sitting at home. You do a kick-ass job. And the politicians, the people with power, his boss, are against him because he said some words. Nothing wrong with what he said. He should be given an award for what he did. And you got this jerk off talking out of his ass. It's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. That's disgusting. You know why the bad guy didn't listen and walked away when there was a gun pointed at him? Because people like Rankin, who support the bad guys. He says nothing about the bad guys having a loaded firearm, a couple pounds of coke. Says nothing about their behavior. That's why they run. Because we support criminals. We don't support the good guys. We support the criminals. Bad guy runs away while a gun is pointed at him. And Rankin, he's expecting corrective actions. How about you expect the shit rat to be found and charged for assault, resist arrest? How about that? How about say that? Why wouldn't you say that? In an email statement, Randy DeLaurie, Nova Scotia Minister of Justice and Attorney General. Oh, what did he say? The video that was widely shared is deeply disturbing. It's deeply disturbing. Yeah, it is. It's disturbing that a cop went to a call like that, had a bunch of criminals surrounding him, around him, not surround him, but around him, and that cop had to fear death and grievous bodily harm. That's deeply disturbing. I expect a speedy and transparent investigation. Why? Why does it need to be speedy? Who's this guy? Assuming it's a guy. Bunch of fruitcakes. Running Halifax. Mike Savage, the mayor, right? He's going to stick up for the cop and the police, isn't he? What'd he say? It needs to be investigated quickly and thoroughly. What's with this quickly and thoroughly? Of course it's going to be investigated thoroughly. Quickly? No, you can forget that. Why quickly? Investigate it quickly and thoroughly, and that will tell us what the next steps are on this. But sure, it's concerning, said Mike Savage. The chair of Halifax Board of Police Commissioners said he agrees. Oh, here we go. Lyndall Smith. He's got a Twitter account. What do you say? Truly unacceptable. Truly unacceptable. Expecting a timely and thorough investigation on this incident. Videos like this make my role as Board of Police Commission chair crucial. And we can't move forward with our work with community without dealing with the systemic issues as well. Every cop, that's a cop, knows there is no systemic racism in policing. But these guys, they're all working towards finding a fix for something that doesn't exist. Guys, let's break down the video. You see that? Look what he does to his jacket right here. Look at this. That's a little bit odd, isn't it? Don't you find that a little bit odd? Is that a firearm? Does it even matter if it's a firearm? Would that change their mind if this guy had if that was a firearm that he's fondling? His other buddy has one, I think. You can't get too much out of the chief. They found one in the vehicle, loaded. The police officer gets a call, a weapons call, according to the news. Did he have a firearm there? Would it change your opinion? By the way, what I've seen so far is a little concerning. Isn't that a little concerning? This is the guy they're supporting. This is the part that they don't find concerning or disturbing, or they're not disgusted in this part.
Yeah, they're pissed now. Look at that. Look. Perfect. Perfect.
Look closely. Look what the cop does there. He looks inside the truck.
Perfect.
Weapons call. A lot of people involved. He's alone. He probably seen a firearm in that truck. He has reason to believe there's firearms. I know it in his head. That's what he's thinking. What are you going to do? You're going to pull out your gun. You're justified to do it. Of course you're going to pull out your gun. Why are you going to pull out your gun? Because you want to go home at night. You got a problem with that, Premier? Chief Kins? You got a problem with that? How can you have a problem with that? That's what you do. And when you pull out the firearm and you tell somebody to get on the ground and do what they say, a normal person does that. Somebody who has a firearm on them knows that they're going to go to jail or back to jail for it. They don't want to listen. And you're going to blame the cop. How high risk of a situation is that right there? Pretty high. Does he fear death or grievous bodily harm? Probably. And we're going to shit on the cop because there's some words that come out of his mouth? I'm going to fill you with lead? Yeah?
Yeah. I'm videotaping the whole thing. Cuz pulled the strap over. Get on the ground, he told. Get on the fucking ground.
Oh, my brother. Oh, your taser.
Cuz it's twisted now, look.
I never did that.
He's got no reason to go on the ground, guys, because the premier supports me, the mayor supports me. Everybody in Halifax supports me. I'm not getting on the ground. I don't have to. Planning his getaway. Now, isn't that a little bit scary if I'm that cop and he's walking around that truck? If I believe there's a firearm in that truck? If I believe there's a firearm on him? That's a little scary. Is he going to get in the truck and get a firearm? So as a cop, you do whatever you have to do to get control of your subject. And you say whatever you have to say, and you say whatever you want. Right there, that movement right there would have scared the shit out of me. I don't know what I would have done. You fucking A. You damn rights. Absolutely. 100%.
I said, I'll fill you with lead, boy. Sheesh. What's wrong?
He runs away. The cop doesn't chase after him, which is a good call. He's got to protect the scene. He's got a scene going on. The bad call would have been chasing after him. Because he stayed. He's getting some charges out of this. He's going to see some things off the streets to make the community safer. So he sticks around. Look at that. He's got 3 people detained. 3 people arrested. 1 guy had a firearm, I think, according to the media. Charges, cocaine seized, loaded firearm seized, and the cop did it all by himself. And we're not going to give him an award for that? Could you imagine how he feels? He knows deep down that he did a good job. And then all of a sudden, here comes Kins. Basically calls him racist. And what this cop did was unacceptable. He cleaned up your community, Kins. He took drugs off the streets, weapons off the streets. And you basically suspend him. And you got a premier talking shit about him. And a mayor. This cop goes to police training, graduates. And this is how he does a good job, and this is how you treat him. The feeling that he must have sitting at home. How disturbing it must be to him. He must feel like he's in the Twilight Zone right now. And not one person, not one politician is coming out and nobody's talking like I am. Why is that? That's weird. That's strange. I shouldn't say every cop feels the way I do, because I don't know. But I would think they would. They would think, I don't know. Sometimes I say things that aren't right. Sometimes I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong this time. I think every single cop would be pretty upset right now. The only people that know what cops do are other cops. But yet we have civilians trying to police. And it's impossible unless you're a cop. Before I was a cop, I had no idea. Just shoot him in the leg. That's what I used to think. I didn't know it was important to aim for center mass. Shit like that. You only learn that stuff if you go to cop school. And that's why it's so sad to see the chief of Halifax act and behave this way. That's disturbing. That's gross. That's concerning. And I'm disgusted. That's disgusting. Got to take corrective measures. We got to correct his behavior. Anyways, I just wanted to come back down here, share my thoughts, my opinions. I don't know what happened that day. I'm pretending to be the cop. I don't know if he's seen a firearm. Does it really matter? I'm going to fill you full of effing lead. This is what we're upset about. Nothing wrong with saying it. Absolutely nothing wrong with saying it. And Kins knows that. You pull a gun out. So? People got a problem with that. With him pulling a gun out. That's what you do. Why wouldn't you? Do you not want the cop to go home? This cop probably has a family, probably maybe kids. He wants to go home at night. And you guys got a problem with that? Anyways, thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Bye-bye.